All righty, let's get started. Volunteers needed, grooming a successor, or how do you groom a great successor for a smooth transition when you leave? I am Lorraine Martinez, your current Membership, Recruitment, and Resource Committee Chair for the state. And
I'm Pat Seaman, the Area 4 Area Director currently. And each year, very few of our members rise to take on leadership positions in CalRTA. Yet for an organization like CalRTA to grow and thrive, it needs people with energy, with new ideas and strategies for success. How do you find people in your division to take on this new role?
And I really like quotes. So this is a quote from Disrupt Aging by Joanne Jenkins, CEO of AARP. For the new retiree, it is a time of growth and new creativity with a desire to make a difference, grab opportunities, and confront challenges. So there you go.
Now let's step back for a moment. There is no pool of people to draw upon for leaders if there are no members. But where do members come from? Most come from new retirees of local school districts. This is why good relations with local school districts are essential. Personal contacts are always key to bringing in new members. Now let's start with the new members. As you get to know new members, ask them, what do you like to do? What other organizations do you belong to? What did you teach? People are motivated by different goals. When our current leaders were asked why they volunteered, they said these things. They wanted to have fun working with their friends. They saw their skills were needed. They wanted to learn something new. They saw the relevance and purpose of the position. They saw the challenge.
So we are offering help for current leaders by recruitment, teaching you how to recruit helpers and delegate tasks. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of a leader who provides opportunities for others to pitch in and make a difference. Qualifications, helping you to learn to identify qualified leaders and sell the benefits of deeper involvement. Collaboration, showing you ways to collaborate with fellow division members and leaders from other divisions. Restructure, the division leadership organizational chart, split up responsibilities so the burden of leadership is spread amongst the members.
Sarah Garrity mentions 7 solutions to attract division volunteers to participate. Concern 1, perhaps division volunteering doesn't fit their busy lives. Division members are not able or willing to commit the amount of time they think is required for traditional volunteer positions. Perhaps their plate is already full, and maybe they're pulling back from professional responsibilities or shifting their focus elsewhere. Newer retirees are adjusting to new habits, new timetables, and new free time. The solution may be micro-volunteering. Micro-volunteering means may be a stepping stone to deeper involvement later on. New members should know that there's a place for them. When they're ready, they can connect to their investment in this organization. Examples of micro-volunteering jobs would include helping at events, greeting attendees, working at the registration desk, taking pictures or videos, welcoming new members and getting to know them, answering questions, editing, proofing, or providing feedback on newsletter articles or other content, taking notes or writing a recap of a session or a webinar. Maybe they're responding to calls to action on pending legislation.
Before I go into concern 2, I want to remind you that if you have any questions on any slide, please type it into the Q&A box there on your bar, and we will get to it at the end. Concern number 2, the division leadership job is too big, period. How often have we heard that? They may have a point. If members see stressed out division leaders working themselves to the bone, it can scare them off. Few members are willing to step up into burdensome leadership positions. You'll end up recycling past leaders or seeing positions go empty. Any surviving leaders will have too much on their plates, and we don't want that to happen. The solution: watch out for superheroes. Take a hard look at your division leadership culture. Do you reward the wrong behavior? Do you praise and reward superhero members who single-handedly manage divisions and burn themselves out in the process? Superhero volunteers are not leaders. Leaders prioritize, delegate, and direct. In effect, these leaders do much of the work themselves instead of recognizing other members and asking them to join you in being part of the team.
Concern 3, division volunteering is unappealing. Some members won't even consider a volunteer position because of the time required. Sometimes division tasks don't get done on time or don't get done at all because no one wants to do them. You wonder why some committees have such a high turnover. Think about a typical task for a membership committee member. What if the committee chair asks someone to call 15 members who haven't reviewed by next week's meeting? Who wants to do that? Most people, especially millennials, want a meaningful volunteer experience. They're happy to join others for envelope stuffing session, as long as you bring good food. Solution to number 3, position descriptions. Review and revamp committee chair and member position descriptions. Set small, easy, doable tasks. How about just calling 1 or 2 members who have not renewed? Volunteer tasks. Inventory all possible volunteer tasks. Identify and publicize micro-volunteering opportunities. Volunteer profiles. Collect volunteer profiles from members when they join or renew. Tag their experience, their skills, their interests, so you can search those profiles for qualified volunteers when the jobs become available or tasks need doing.
Concern 4, return on investment. Chapter volunteering doesn't provide enough ROI. Members might have time to volunteer, but they don't think the experience is worth their time. They don't think volunteering will help them reach goals, nor they may not see value in developing relationships with other members. I don't know why, we're awful for a bunch of fun people. Solution 4, share volunteer benefits on your website. On your website or in our newsletter, describe how volunteering benefits the member and community. Collect leadership testimonials that illustrate how chapter leadership can benefit retirees, their families, their community. New volunteers thrive when they're given ad hoc opportunities instead of committee roles, according to one expert.
Concern number 5. Members don't want to take on something that they'll regret or that they're not ready for. People are uneasy about stepping into the unknown, especially if they aren't sure what to expect or what is expected of them. If they're uncertain about the consequences of serving on a committee, they're unlikely to commit to it. Sometimes people feel they're not qualified for the position. Solution to 5. Be sure to encourage prospective volunteers to view the webinar tutorials that are on the CalRTA website. Use newsletters, Facebook, and email blasts to inform members about division governance and leadership opportunities. Fall and spring workshops are also great for this. Recognize volunteers in your newsletters. What misconceptions did they have about their their possession. How have they been pleasantly surprised by their experience? How has it benefited them? Ask them to observe a board meeting and perhaps to consider being a member at large. Offer plenty of ways for members to get a taste of volunteering. Besides micro-volunteering, try project teams so the task is shared. Train members in new positions by utilizing co-positions or acting positions, at least until the new leader feels comfortable on their own.
You often find that division volunteering isn't even on their radar. So we know that personal invitations are the most effective way to recruit a volunteer. Some people can be a member for years and not asked to do anything, but they may give you that big no anyways, but you should keep trying. They don't know the people who are doing the asking, so they're out of the loop or reluctant to initiate the conversation. Solution: expand your list of usual suspects by publicizing the micro-volunteering opportunities at your luncheons, newsletter, whatever means of communication that you have, your Facebook page. Start an ambassador program. Volunteers contact members who aren't active, seek them out at events, get to know them, and introduce them to other members. And that can just be as simple as meeting them for a short walk in the park or going to a coffee shop and sharing a cup of coffee. Concerns, oh, that's you. Sorry. There you go.
Okay, concern number 7. Members think division volunteering isn't for someone like them. If a member doesn't see anyone like themselves in leadership positions, no one of the same generation, gender, or ethnicity, they won't feel welcome to participate in leadership. This exclusivity issue is also known as the country club syndrome, or the good old boys or girls club. Members on the outside looking in think, everybody knows each other, they're all friends. I don't know anyone. I don't belong in that group. Solution number 7, diversity. Get leadership and governance out of the shadows. Make it more understandable and transparent. Post minutes of board meetings and current issues in your newsletter and on your website. And from where they sit, they don't understand the inner workings of your division or its traditions. When they see leadership communicating just on a need-to-know basis, they can't figure out how to contribute. They become frustrated. They give up on volunteering, and they may give up on your division too. Make leadership more inclusive by actively scouting and recruiting potential division leaders.
Does your division keep track of prospective members? Do you have a good program that includes your many platforms, your newsletter, your website, your Twitter page, social media, local newspapers, etc.? What questions could you ask a new member to determine their background and motivation? Keep good notes for people who might serve at a later date. Recognize members' individual talents and experiences, but don't ignore their interests that have not been developed. Look at everyone on your membership list, but focus on newer members. People rarely raise their hand to volunteer, but may say yes if asked. Create micro opportunities for those wanting to do a small or one-time job. There is a process of discovering compatibility that takes time. On to marketing is not recruiting. Recruiting is sales. So you need to frame your sales pitch. The network is finding that one. First date, awaken the passion. Make sure it's a good first date. Second date, because the first date was so good, you throw in your sales pitch. You tell the volunteer you would like their help. Oh, did it go on? Sorry. Future dates, define the position clearly, never lie about the responsibilities of the position. There should never have been, oh, by the way, you need to also do. Nothing need to be formal. Always be sure to tell them what you see in them that would make them a good candidate. You may see traits they're not aware of. Retaining good volunteers. Is that you, Pat?
So, yeah. So now someone has agreed to take a position. Tell them what the last person in that position has done and ask them for suggestions on how they might make improvements. Encourage them to constantly question, what is the goal here? Is this necessary? Has this been effective in the past? Step back and allow them to put their own mark on the position and give them a chance to lead. Share what's been done, but don't drop boxes of files off on their doorstep. Summarize the most important routine tasks and the resources that are available to them. Follow up. Ask them how they like what they're doing. Discuss any problems that arise. The real challenge of a good leader is not to find a superior volunteer, but to motivate people to do superior work. Leaders need to recognize how fragile a person's self-confidence may be. Acknowledge achievement often. Most important, if you have criticism, do it in private. If you have praise, tell everybody. If you look only for perfection, you will sacrifice progress. Be supportive by being an active listener and recognizing that mistakes are the tools of learning. Some leadership tips. If you want people to work harder and achieve more, give them a voice in setting their own goals. Show all their volunteers the big picture if you want the best performance. We've tried that before is the right answer if you want to kill initiative. Praise, praise, praise. Nothing pays higher dividends. Small things like a thank you note, a note of appreciation, recognition at a membership meeting can pay big dividends. Also, you might want to thank the families of volunteers occasionally. Encourage volunteers to gain a new skill. CalRTA provides opportunities through their webinars better than any organization I know. An organization that provides few opportunities will have trouble keeping outstanding people. A division may need to play musical chairs with board members at times.
The 6 no's of recruiting volunteers. Do not expect announcements to get volunteers. Many people will never volunteer, but why aren't people volunteering? Because they want to be asked. Do not go it alone. Instead, establish a recruiting task force, a group. When your division board meets, come with a list of vacancies. Brainstorm possible people who could fill those roles. And don't pressure volunteers to continue the role as if it is a lifetime achievement or a commitment. Many people are afraid of getting tied to their job for a lifetime and never being able to get out of it. They get burned out and then quit the organization to quit their volunteer role.
Don't assume that no means never. Timing is everything. When we get the courage to recruit someone and then they say no, we often feel rejection. Sometimes no means not now. Sometimes it means that a member feels that he or she would rather do something else. When the answer is no, ask if there are other positions that interest them more. Never give the position the wrong job title. What's in a name? Plenty. We are recruiting volunteers who want to know what the job title is and what it entails. So be specific, as it will help members decide yes, no, or maybe. Avoid negativity. You need to change only one thing to turn a person into a great success. That is their attitude. But beware, that's the toughest job of all.
So that's the end of our presentation, and we have actually quite a bit of time for questions or to come out. So my email address is mrrcchair@calart.calrt@gmail, and Pat's is pat.seaman814@gmail.com. And let me check on the chat for, and let me leave the share, stop share. And let's go to one, there's one chat thing. Let's see what it says. Are these slides available to download? I believe the presentation will be put onto the website. Alrighty, and we have 3 questions. Pat, can you see those?
I cannot.
Okay, why don't you click on the Q&A?
Oh, got it.
Okay. So Mary Beth, thank you for your comment. I love the idea of micro-volunteering. Yes, life gets in the way, so true. So we all know this, reducing a big job into smaller parts will hopefully get you the volunteers you need. Do you want to do the second one?
Sure. Is there a resource for volunteer profile questionnaire? I know one, Division 52, and Michael, I will send that to you of what we put together. Lori Osborne put it together. I will also say that Division 52 has a brunch for new members. And during the brunch, as the new members are introduced, Lori keeps track of where they taught and their interests and other organizations. And so that has been very helpful. But I'll send you some stuff, Michael.
If anybody else would like it, let us know and Pat can include you. So there's 2 of you who raised your hands. We're asking for this session that you type in your questions in the Q&A or your comments, please. Okay, the next one is, will there be a printout on concerns? Actually, there's a handout and it has all the has everything in the slide presentation. So you're, Norman, you can print it out there. And then I thought we were going to talk about finding a successor as in for president. Well, actually, we did talk about it and how to look for and possibly recruit people in the presentation. You want to add to that, Pat?
Yeah, the president is just one position. In most cases, a person that is running for president has had other positions within the division before they run for president. So what we've been talking about are the stepping stones to move toward the presidency.
I hope, Marion, I hope that answers your question. Kathy, I would love, she would like to have that member questions also, Pat. Kathy's stats.
Okay, Kathy, are you in the membership directory, in the leadership directory?
You can type your answer. Kathy O'Leary, does anyone have an example of good volunteer opportunity besides membership? Well, actually, Kathy, the MEP grant provided a lot of opportunities. Many of the divisions had to get letters ready and, and that type of thing. So it would have been a great opportunity for micro volunteering to spread out. Here's 25 names, 25 everything needed to mail out these documents for the new retirees. Another example is that putting the tabs on the newsletter. I know in my division, they divide it up into 3 stacks and 3 people go ahead and do those tabs. And of course, other divisions, when we were meeting, had all the people come together and put the tabs at somebody's house or at a site. So Pat, do you have any other examples?
Yes, the GRC people also go to town halls, meet with legislators. That's a micro volunteering opportunity. Certainly summaries of webinars is another one. Another great one is just editing articles for the newsletter. People just willing to look over the newsletter and proofread articles. Great micro opportunity. So really, if you look around your division, you find a lot of little things that can be done that are not just in membership. Although, of course, we want a lot of membership.
Yeah.
Um,
Another one would be if you split up some of your most senior members and you decide to give them a phone call just as a quick check-in, or you could send them, I know some divisions honor them on Valentine's Day or at another luncheon, send them a little card, inviting them to the luncheon, explaining that you're going to be doing that. Anything to make people feel good about themselves doing it and also being invited to something. Susan would like you got Susan there, Pat, for like the volunteer survey? Okay, perfect.
Now, wait, I don't know, Bob, is it Bob Buger or Maria Buger? I'm trying to see who is that? Because I'll have to look up your email.
Yeah, Division 73 is probably
73. Okay.
Yeah, you can send it to them.
I will send it to your president.
Oh, actually, is a question. Marilyn's got a great question. Is the questionnaire available on the Division 52 website?
It is not.
Okay.
Currently, but yeah, because they are in the midst of changing leadership right now, and so it's kind of not there yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll make it available in some way. I don't know how. I'll figure it out.
Okay. Actually, what I'll do, Pat, is I will copy and paste all these questions, and then I'll help you look up these people's email so we can send it to them individually. Or I could send it out to all the presidents and membership chairs through my mass email that I do. So we'll figure it out, folks, I guess is what I'm saying. We'll figure it out. Do you recommend?
You'll probably get multiple emails with the
That's okay. More is better. More is better sometimes. Okay. Do you recommend that in our local meetings, we plan some activities during which people can get up from their own table and talk to people they don't know? If it works for you, I think that's a great idea. You can do a people bingo. You can do just a quick Q&A, and it doesn't have to be, and it could be just talking about an event that just happened, or give them a starting point, give them a question that they can all answer quite easily. Anything to add to that, Pat?
No, I think I have sometimes asked people at a table, people that retired from the same school, they want to sit at the same table together. But I've often asked them to just reach out to one new member and include them in your group. And, you know, that brings somebody new into the club. And, you know, because, you know, I've seen people come to a meeting, their first meeting, stand on the side, look around over by the coffee machine, and they say, I don't know anybody here. And they need to be asked to find a seat. One of the best sentences is, will you come sit by me? That is so important to new people. Will you come sit by me? Give them a seat.
Absolutely. And then we go down, there's a lot of people asking for the resource. John Delgado again asks that the great ideas be sent to the division presidents who will share with their officers and members. Thank you, John. Ken Hewitt, how can systemize the leadership positions for the need to promote no one works alone? Geez, I have to think about that one. To prompt no one works alone.
Tell me more, Ken.
Yeah. That's not,
but he's not live.
Yeah, so if you could elaborate a little bit, Ken, that would be appreciated. I don't know if it's Shari or Sherry, but I fell into the newsletter editor. Yes, by default, almost 10 years ago. I love doing the newsletter, but I would like to pass this task on. I'm willing to be co-editor. Any more ideas to get the person? have you asked anybody to help you edit, to write a short article about, or have you asked somebody to interview a senior member of your division? Who are you getting your articles from? I think if people are willing to write, they're probably willing to be a co-editor. And also, sometimes you pull in one of your friends. Sit down at luncheons or however you communicate with people after COVID in the fall, maybe talk with some of the new ones and new members and see if any of them have any desire to help design it. And it's really, as long as you can make the job sound fun, interesting, and not take up a ton of time, I hope, fingers crossed, that you'll be able to find somebody. I hope that helps. I like the volunteer profile. Susan, could you add it to the membership toolkit? Oh, the profile? Yes, we could. Once we get it and look at it, we can definitely add it to the membership page. Since everybody here would love a copy. So, and please explain again how we can share the slides from this presentation. So all the slides within a couple of weeks, check the website and there should be the slides and the presentations available on the website. And you should be able to share those with your division leaders or your division members or whoever you need. Go ahead, Pat, of course.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to Sherry's question about finding a quote co-editor. One of my divisions has 4 people that share the newsletter job. One person bugs people about getting the articles in, one person proofreads all the articles, one person does the layout, one person sends it to the printer, one person sends it out to all the members. If you can get a team together, the advantage of having a team, which I call the communications team, but anyway, is that everybody learns everybody else's position. You're working as a group. And so then if someone needs to drop out of their position for some reason, other people can step in. And so there's not all of a sudden a big hole in the group. One statement that a leader in my area said one time, and I thought was brilliant. He said, "We don't need a chair of this committee. We already have a great chair. We need people that are willing to work on the committee. And maybe it doesn't work every time for you, but can we get a list of the people that would be willing to be called?" 25 people signed up to be called because they knew they wouldn't be the chair. So that's another thought.
All righty. Pat, can you tell me the name of the document again? Does it have a title that you're going to be sending?
I'd have to go and look it up in my files. I don't know.
Okay. I didn't know if you had it at the top of your head.
I think it's volunteer profile. But I will get to Lori Osborne, who is the creator of this, and go over it and make sure that we edit it so that it is up to date and is the most useful. So
fabulous.
She's a star in that.
We all have our stars for all the divisions, right? Here's another one. Okay, here's Ken's explanation. We should ask every leader to find an assistant. Got it. President should not permit anyone to work without an assistant, co-assistant helper. Ken, that's very, very true. And that's excellent words of wisdom, because the more people you can have doing a job or being part of the job, the better off your division will be. You won't have any open holes. Oh, Pat?
One of my favorite sayings is, none of us is as smart as all of us. And a good leader can delegate, can get somebody else in there to do some of the things and learn part of their job so that there is not that hole when they need to leave.
Exactly. I don't see any more questions or comments.
That's in the Q&A. Now, are there separate ones over in the chat?
Um,
I
Terry
see certain-
Garrett's posted, and that's to panelists, and Terry, we're both to panelists and attendees. So everybody should be able to see under chat those ones. So, all right, I guess that's it. Oh, missed part of this. Did you mention asking a likely person? We started an associate exec board member, nothing exact, just participatory. We haven't, we call them at large members, and they're part of the board. And the idea is for them to get used to them coming to board meetings, giving their input, and hopefully smoothing the path to actually taking a small position within the organization. Does I hope that answers your question? Anything else? We have, what do we have? We have 10 minutes. If not, that's okay too.
I have a couple of things I wanted to say if we have a gap between. You need to match the volunteer to their style. Some like routine and others feel more comfortable with changing tasks. Some people like to be in the spotlight and other people hate it. Some people like to work in a group and other people like to work alone. Some like short-term tasks and other people like a more significant commitment. That's what getting to know your members will give you. You need to match their style. There's no right or wrong way, but it's their style, what they feel comfortable to the position. Any other questions?
Yeah, Ed Tapas from Mendocino is saying there's a great temptation to do it all yourself because it can be easier. And that's really true. And it's important to really try not to. That's really an important part. And the other thing is sometimes you're gonna have volunteers like me that jump in with both feet and, okay, tell me what you want me to do. And those volunteers, you have to be careful not to burn them out. So make sure that you start them with a position. I started as a member at large on the board, and now I'm co-president. But I'm co-president, so it makes it more fun. I appreciate doing things with other people. So there are people like me out there. I'm sure, Pat. Come on. So
no, my screen just jumped, but I wanted to say that when you delegate, the person that takes on that job may not do it the same way that you would have done it, but it's okay. They might even do it better than you had anticipated. So be careful not to micromanage that person. And, you've got to release it and say, it's yours. Let's talk about it. Let's see how this is going to work. See how this works for you. If they propose something that's totally different, say, let's try it. And then we'll talk about it. This is how you keep people engaged.
Absolutely. As soon as they hear that's not how we've done it before, you've lost them. You totally have lost them. So it's very important tool. And even if it didn't meet what you call your standards, it doesn't matter. It happened. I'm sure it was successful. People came, they enjoyed it. So what? You didn't have that extra piece of chocolate. That's okay.
One thing I love about this organization is that people are very supportive. And, if you make a mistake or if everything doesn't come out perfectly, they say, it's okay. It's okay. And so don't be afraid to make mistakes yourself, because that lets other people know that it's okay if they make a mistake too.
Yes. And I own up. You have to own up to your mistakes and apologize. And then people think you're a good guy. or good gal. So, all righty, well, it's 11:54. No more, anything else you want to add? Pat, anything else?
No, that's all I had.
And Marion's, I love it. Mary, we're going to close with this. You have to learn that skill if you have a spouse. Otherwise, they will never do that task again. That's the truth. And with that piece of wisdom, we will go ahead. Oh, whoa. There was more questions. Dang. Oh, so much thanking us. New member retention. After a meeting, follow up with a phone call or mail them a thank you note and let them know what event, activity, meeting. Thank you, Margie. That's an excellent. And John, yes, we are keeping in mind of the COVID, and but actually, being outside now is a lot safer. You can keep your mask on. You can be social distance. You can share a picnic table and share ideas. So not necessarily in a building, in a room, but outside. If you can get people to go on a little walk with you, just meet. Like I said, everybody bring a cup of coffee, and you provide some Danish, and then there you go. So thank you, everybody, so much. We hope you have a great rest of the day.